This is your homework, Larry.
I have overinvested by a lot.
Hey, traders, welcome to the stream, post-Christmas stream, hype. And if you didn't look at Bitcoin past few days, nothing changed. I mean, no movement. And in fact, you had the lowest volatility in the history of Bitcoin on Christmas Day yesterday. So it'd be good. It was good on you to just forget about it for a little bit. But here we are, we're back at it. And it's not really Bitcoin right now. It's XRP and Litecoin and a few others we'll look at, hence the thumbnail and maybe the title. And really, hold on. Things to look at, things to talk about. Not so much Bitcoin. Bitcoin's just kind of just hanging out, consolidating since it crashed on the 10th of November. We're about to be going into January. So, but just in case, the offshoot chance that Bitcoin on its coin flip pumps, there are some assets out there that are at those levels where you can strategize an entry, a stop loss, and take profits. That's it. Ethereum, not so much of one. Not really. Look what it's doing, though. I can tell you this. I mean, you are below the key inflection zone point you need to be above. Supply line that goes back to November of last year. You are trying to break it. You might have broken it just by side. You did. I mean, you technically kind of broke the level. You engulfed. You made the highest daily candle close since December 15th yesterday, which was about 20 minutes ago. And you are above 1223, which is great. I mean, 1223 is not a joke. It is specifically a dead cat bounce high from 2018 that we've been monitoring. So you are maybe possibly above two major levels. So let's see what happens. We could be a little more optimistic above that level, but it may not last long. Again, this isn't really even the one so much that hey dude, I freaking love it because it's just showing the variables that we look for no matter what cycle, no matter what time, no matter what market. It's not so much a one. You could look at it like it's the M shape, right? We talked about the bullish bat forever. It never hit the 886. It hit an 85% retrace. And that could be it. I mean, really, it's not showing bullish divergence because it's making a higher low. It's just bullish convergence. I do like how it is above 40 and bounced off 40. That's nice. You're not in the bearish control zone. You were falling into it and rejected it. So, okay. These are new developments after the past few days. Really, it's not that crazy, but then we start looking at the third largest crypto, and that's when we say, all right, okay, Something that we can identify, that we understand, an 88% retrace on an M shape, type 1, a reaction, and possibly, just possibly, a type 2. On the type 2, you've got the bullish divergence. Classic bullish divergence, class B bullish divergence. So pretty simple on where you would probably want to have a stop if one was going to take a shot on this, and just somewhere below 32.5 cents, because we know if you fall below 32.5 cents, you're done. You're screwed. You're going to 24.5 cents. You're going way lower. But just on the happenstance that Bitcoin pumps next and doesn't dump, doesn't rug pull, this could be one that one is playing low risk, high reward. And look, you have a demand line that extends, and you're back above it. That engulfing candle really getting you above it. But you kind of understand, and it would look something like this. I mean, that engulfing it's up elevated, right? I mean, if you maybe we got a little pullback today and that engulfing stayed valid, you know, something like this. Stop loss maybe just below that November 9th low. And I think, you know, in this situation, you don't even have to go crazy. A 3-to-1 reward to risk, if say it pulled back a little bit, you know, today. And again, that engulfing candle that was real off the demand line holds. You could settle for a 50-cent target here, type 1, type 2 return on the harmonic. So this would be, again, we never know if these will play out. You just never know. But we do know that it's a 3-to-1 reward to risk. And you're strategizing an entry at an inflection point from history that's not a joke, clearly not a joke. As you can see, look at the peaks from 2020, multiple times, 2019 even. That's real. And here's the icing, okay? Again, the icing on the cake for XRP and maybe a couple more is that's like, you know, pretty scaled in. But if you scale out and you go to the weekly, where is all this happening? I'll tell you where it's happening. From the COVID crash low to that cycle top, it's all happening at an 88% retrace. So taking a long on an asset after it's lost 88% of its value from the cycle bottom, or, you know, before the cycle started, I guess, to the cycle top, if you're identifying local structures at 88% retraces, there is nothing wrong with that. Like, if it fails, it fails. But these are the areas. Okay, these are certainly the areas where it's not a bad idea. If not at the 88% retraces, 90% retraces, then where? If you're talking about perceiving value. Because this is the only way to perceive value in crypto is Fibonacci. Percentage retraces from lows to highs. And this is it. This is the magic number area. Okay. Go to the monthly. Monthly's closing in 5 days. Well, you got a bullish engulfing candle in September. And that's still technically valid until you close the month below 32.9 cents. If you're at 32.9 cents, I believe it's over for the trade setup, right? I believe you got stopped out. So, we're just speaking practically here about, and this is universal. This is on corn futures or soybeans or whatever. Google, Amazon, gold, you name it. If any asset goes on a run and then loses 88% of its value and then begins to develop some sort of bullish argument with multiple variables at that global 886, that's low risk. That's lower risk. It just is. Even if it failed. Like playing the numbers game, continuously going long at 886s across all markets while identifying at those 886 levels harmonic structures that have been researched to be very reliable, and then not just at those pattern completion zones of those harmonics. It's like one time, then the second time. On the second time, you have seller exhaustion,
hey Mitch,
and it's all near an inflection point from history we know with the 886. That's incredible.
What do you think about XNG/USD? Fell under daily trend line, but I think it's gonna bounce and run back up. Your thoughts?
What's up, Hoodie, dude? Thanks for the contribution, XNG. This natural gas, we can look at it. And natural gas, dude, is out of this world. It's tougher than crypto, man. We've already assessed it, and it's like 30% swings every few days, kind of, every week, right? Something like that. It's stupid, but we will look. Thank you for the contribution to the stream and the request. Okay. So that's how you identify arguments for longs. It's always been that way, and will continue to be that way. So the sellers tried once, and now they've tried twice, and now you got like some third world countries now like working with XRP to start their own stable coins. I mean, that's like a news driven catalyst, I guess. But hey, man, I'll just tell you this. And let's go to the next one. Let's go to Litecoin, because Litecoin is not quite so much in that perfect sweet spot like XRP is, but its trends reversed already, right? I mean, it put in its bottom in mid-June, right? Black Saturday lows area. And the sellers tried pushing it down several times throughout the summer, and they failed miserably. So accumulation, more market participants involved with Litecoin than that was involved in June. And then you're like trying to break a supply line, and then you dumped. But then look, I mean, you dumped all the way down that November 9th, that last maybe fake out. I mean, that if that didn't get people out scared, and then the recovery, and then the back test of the breakout of the supply line, on November 15th, and then the rally, then the higher high, right? The low, the high, the higher lows, the higher high, same low, higher high, now a higher low, HL, right? HH, higher highs, higher lows. And then look what's happening at this very real battleground area, this inflection point. $66 is not a joke on Litecoin. Above that, very optimistic, extremely optimistic. But when you showed hidden bullish divergence, you're now today beginning to show positive momentum for the first time since the beginning of the month, being above that inflection point. And all you gotta do is look at history to know that's wonderful. This is in a wonderful position. It could go to $84 again. If it broke $84, it goes to 105. But look, remember, that's like locally, that's cool and all, but just think about where all reversals have started on Litecoin. Virtually always down here at $40. $40. Look at how many times it's been support and rallied. And I'll just tell you this, the sentiment and the feeling of fear in this market was very similar. I'll never forget. Just every day, I think I was in Orlando, Florida, in late September, and this pattern developed. I remember posting a trade setup on it, and it's like, look, man, I don't know, because stock market's terrible. Back then it was, and during that time, at least, it was not good. A lot of tech was selling off and stuff, and but it was an identified pattern. It was showing divergence. It was near inflection points. It was at strategic levels where you could set up a stop loss, because if it falls below that area, then it's a failed, it's like, okay, then that idea failed, whatever, we move on. But that's it. The fear was so high there. You'd have to be a market participant back then to remember the fear that existed, the fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And now we got that same type of fear, and it's all happening now, and this asset's making higher highs, higher lows. So it's just like, this is one very, very nice right now. I mean, eventually it could fail, and that would be Bitcoin pulling the rug, and that's okay. I get it, man. Bitcoin could very well do that. But that's different. Litecoin. And then we go to Doge because it's a large market cap asset. And it's not quite over yet, but kind of hard to argue against the fact that there is daily bullish divergence on the MACD histogram, and that negative momentum's waning. I mean, it is here. And I'm like, dang, man, I thought that was the type 2. Well, maybe, just maybe, the way it's looking, maybe that was the type 1. This was the reaction. And maybe this is working on the type 2. But look, the main thing is you're at the completion zone. And if you're above, if you're at that level and you stay at that level, then, and it holds and you rally, my God, man, this could be a bottom on Doge too. This thing has done things, right, that a lot of others haven't. Most things are like, I'm talking about a handful of these assets. Most are garbage, and they'll pump because Bitcoin pumps, but they weren't showing the patterns that we know. They weren't like bottoming out at inflection points that we look for. They weren't showing the congregation of variables at those levels. But a few are, and that's what I'm looking at right now, right? So maybe you're bullishly diverging on the MACD-histogram, and maybe this is the real type 2 return of the shark. We will see. You're above the 200-day moving average, trying to stay above it. My God. Oh, audio levels maybe a little loud. Okay, so Doge, and then, one that I was really optimistic on and then started getting really sketched out on it, but then the past few days, low volume. My God, man, it could be incredible. It could be the trade of the year. It could be. It really could. QNT, man. I mean, this is something else.
Thank you for showing me how to fish.
What's up, Anonymous? What's up with the font? What is up with the font of the TTS? That's crazy. Thank you, man, for doing stuff. But yeah, man, this is all I'm trying to do, man. Like, these things could very well fail, but it's not gonna change the fact that these are not what you look for. You're still gonna look for these, even if this particular time these all fail. Yeah, chalk it up to garbage market conditions, man. Terrible. Bitcoin dumping, right? But my God, dude, this is like, if it doesn't fail, if Bitcoin pumps, this is the area to long. This just is. This is the strategic entry area. Look, man, you got a confirmed uptrend and on QNT, higher highs, higher lows. You're back testing formally a level from July 2021. It's very real. Not testing it once. You're testing it twice now. This is the potential type 2 return of the bullish bat pattern. On the second test, clear, undeniable, daily, class B bullish divergence. Positive momentum beginning to show again. So the stage is set on QNT, XRP, kind of Litecoin. Not really. But I think Litecoin looks great because of what it's been doing lately. The whole past 6 months, man, it's trying to put in higher highs, higher lows. There's another one we can look at too. I'm draining, man. I don't know. Sinus infection? What's going on, dude? Christmas time. Cold, super cold. Again, most of the assets that exist in the crypto space are not showing anything like this. Okay, they just aren't. So screw them. They suck. We want nothing to do with them. They will pump if Bitcoin pumps, like the ones that are setting up for higher prices, but we want to stick to our system, right? We're not looking to long some random coin that's just made its lowest low of all time or of the bear cycle 3 days ago. We're not looking at those. We're looking at the ones that have already bottomed, the ones that are outperforming the macro. That's what you want. So we looked at the big ones. Let's look at the total real quick, just knock it out. Here's total. I mean, really is, by God, is trying to hold 763, which that level, if you watch long enough, it's the previous cycle top from January 2018. You're above it like a fruit fly. I don't really feel that optimistic either about it. It's like, oh God, this thing dumps. Okay, great. And that's going to kill all these altcoin ideas, arguments we have. But again, trading isn't about being right or wrong. It's just about being able to strategize and manage your risk at inflection
token,
points.
Please.
Yeah, not like the fork or utility token of Shiba. Rocky, thanks, dude. Yeah, I guess we'll look at that if you want. So just back to that, man. I mean, like, sure, it's above the level for now, and you're just hoping, praying to God that this is the spring back test. But it's just hopium. You're smoking hopium on total below 763. It's a long way down, and I do get that. I mean, that's kind of been the consensus. Like, man, if you break this level, it's over. But that's the thing. You haven't broken it for real yet. It just hasn't happened. So waiting for that occurrence, and then we'll talk. But just kind of hanging out here, all right? Let's go to the quad screen. Sorry, just been rushing, man. Was out, and now I'm back. Then XRP, right? Full on 886 down here. Wow, how about that, right? From the low to the high. Bottoms at an 88% retrace, and then begins to rally. Now it's back in the dead middle of the channel. Big one top left. Dead middle again, right? This is just so dead, man. Look, December 16th, and it's the 27th technically, based on, you know, universal time now. And then, you know, top right's Ethereum. These are all 60-minute charts. Dead middle of the range on Ethereum as well. Binance coin, after, you know, crashing so hard, has remained elevated in the 240s. Volatility is definitely dried up here too. So that's what you got going on the big four. Stock market futures up 0.64% on the new week. I believe it was closed yesterday. But here you go, man. You just go to the 4 hour on the S&P futures, and of course that pattern, that structure, that consult the thing you see time and time again. One low, maybe the second low. On the second low, you definitely were diverging, and now you're rallying. You know, you haven't taken out this 3,900 peak, little peak here, but maybe it's trying to confirm a small bottom here. I mean, it could. And then it rallies and eventually goes to 4K again, but probably ends up making a lower high than the previous two highs before it. That's fine. But that's what you got on the new week. Some price action off some divergence, maybe one low, the second low, which is good, always good for crypto, always good for these altcoins, S coins we see that maybe are showing a good argument for potential upside. Wait, did anyone say the audio was okay? Not too loud? It's better if it's quiet. So Miami World Art, I'll be seeing you down there. If you're in Miami and you want to hang out for New Year's, and you know, I'll be down there for like maybe a couple weeks or something, shopping for real estate. Yeah, just DM me or something. I'll be down there, man. Be living it up. So a good start to the week for S&P, but you know, this long established downtrend, you know all about it, don't you? Yep. Okay, there's that XNG. Real quick, knock it out. It'll like one request. Sandman, it doesn't really. I can refresh. I have to refresh the cache, or anytime I open up, I close out my OBS and open it back up, it'll update. What's up, Zabugs? How you doing, man? Oof, man, it's pretty not good looking, is it? I don't think this looks good at all. Right? Look at that. I mean, that's like you've confirmed a top. Then you sold off, held support, then rallied and did what? Confirmed distribution. You confirmed less market participants. You confirmed the momentum has shifted to the seller side, not the bullish side. But my God, dude, it was insane. What a run. This is normally what it looks like when things end. Below the 200-day moving average. On my other chart, we look at UNG or NG1. This is just another ticker for natural gas. We had identified the Momo shift here, right? Just talking about the candle closes, you know, pretty bad. I mean, that's ugly. It was almost a fractal of what you saw between late July and mid-September of this year. Head and shoulders Momo shift. And now you've made fresh lows. In fact, you've made the lowest lows since March. That is not good. I mean, that's really, really bad, actually. I mean, you're taking out that high all the way back from 2010. I think there are some more supports here, right? You know, looking like, 2011 and then 2018. It's a peak you're trying to hold. So you're trying to hang on. It seems like one more level, but look at that. Below that level. Good God. Right, these things had their parties, and then the parties eventually end. And now you're no longer making higher highs, higher lows, are you? No. Characteristics of this chart is lower high, now technically lower low. So not the best looking asset if you're trying to long, but it doesn't mean it can't make a full-on 886. And if it does, you got a little lower to go, don't you? 886 is 426. It's currently sitting at the 78% retrace. We'll see. I mean, maybe it holds here. This thing's insane. This thing goes freaking insane, like in price. It's more volatile than crypto. Now, yeah. Like, obviously things have changed. You're not like making higher highs, higher lows anymore. So I'd rather be looking at something like XRP or Litecoin or QNT than I would natural gas right now, because they are showing the characteristics that we look for on assets that are attempting to bottom. They're hitting formal 886s, global 886s. And at those global 886s, they're showing local 886s with the completed M shapes. And at those completed M shapes, they're testing for the second time. And on the second time, sellers are exhausted. And this is all happening at an inflection point from history. Blah. Dang, DJ A-Train, really? Well, that's where I'll be. That's where I'm looking to live, too. So we might be friends, man. Just hit me up in the Discord, though. I know you're talking here. Just DM me, direct message me in Discord. Okay, natural gas. What about gold? New week on gold, too, right? Gold's still elevated, man. It could be, I know it's like that rising wedge. All that divergence, but man, it's strong right here. It's still just trying so hard. Even if you adjust, though, on the new data, it's interesting. Very interesting. Gold was not one, really, that showed the promise down here. It really didn't. I mean, it had broken all formal supports, but the buyer, and it fell back in the channel, but then it bottomed out twice. It's doing kind of what the S&P is trying to do. And then rallied back above the inflection point. And there was no formal backtest of 1682 as support when it broke it. And that's strong, but I mean, you'd think like if there was never a backtest, you think at a resistance after such a nice run, it might pull back and test it later and make a higher low than the previous lows, but it hasn't done that. It's just kind of running away right now. Above 1800, you could easily see 1900 anytime, because that is the price action you normally receive there.
Hey Mitch, hope you enjoyed your Christmas. Could you please look at RSG, ASX, weekly chart? Bottom of a large range? Thanks, 0.016344427 ETH.
BTC, UTXO, thank you for the 20 of the cryptos. Yeah, man, we'll do it. Much love. Okay. We will do it. Gold pretty strong right now. Silver also extremely strong, very powerful. I mean, it is uptrending. It's been uptrending. It all started with the spring back test of springs, the confirmation low, right? It's not the first time. It's the second time everyone becomes wise, right? Second time the buyers defended the July 14th low. And you have that really nice evidence of accumulation, because this low was lower than these two lows. So that's what low risk looks like. That's why I'm talking about maybe XRP, maybe QNT. They're doing some similar stuff, Larry. This stuff is like math. This is universal language of all markets. So above 23, I mean $23, I mean 25 and 26 after that. It's so elevated though. A pullback anytime, not going to be that crazy. You're not going to be, I mean, great areas to long. Up here, it's starting to get weird. I mean, it's like one high, the second high, then the slightly higher high, the third high. Maybe buyers getting stalling a little bit. Hold on, gotta sneeze. Okay. So we're just looking at that. All right, just looking at your gold and silver. What about gold to silver? Whoops, let's see. There it is. Gold to silver. Uh-oh. I mean, let's see. Go to the daily here. Gold to silver. Yeah, silver could very well
Great
continue
stream,
to
sir.
outperform.
Thumbs up.
What's up, Jay? Thanks for the threes, dude. The kind of words. I guess Stream Elements decided they're going to change their font. So that's good. All right. So yeah, this could continue. I mean, eventually, look, you think about this, like eventually there could be a pullback, and I think the pullback, wherever the pullback happened, would be a lower high, then you roll over later. But yeah, you're showing all this bullish divergence on the map, like triple bullish divergence down here. Gold might outperform silver for a little while, but then eventually underperform silver. Okay. So there are others, man. Like of these cryptos where it's like, hey man, we're just looking for the things that we look for. If they're there, that's great. If not, whatever. But you look at something like Lind Coin, AAVE, Aave, Lind. Used to be Lind. It's a completed M shape. Here's your 88% retrace. Could be the type 2. Maybe. Same time though, this is where things could get real bad, where it goes to $27. But you would be well out of that if that occurred. You wouldn't be involved in this asset then. So I'm just talking about maybe, just maybe. Could be wrong because of Bitcoin rug pulls. None of these will play out. But that's what stop losses are for. Because you know at any time, no matter how good the setup looks, the macro could just overtake it, and then you dump, and then okay, you stopped out, and then losses, and you move on. But it's just showing the same variables with the completed M shapes. And where, you know, you just look, and not an 886. It's a little, maybe there's a little bit more value involved on AAVE low to high. Look at that. That's like a 95% retrace. It's exceeded the 886. But showing the same stuff that kind of XRP showing. It'll just be interesting. I mean, if you just flip the chart over, this could help you understand, right? I mean, an asset that for the greater part of a year and a half has only been getting wrecked. But now it's gotten to this point where it's lost 95% of its value, and it's just kind of just stopped maybe. It just stopped making lower highs, lower lows. But if I flipped over, you just look at this and you're like, would you ever in your right mind go long on an asset that looks like this? You had how long? You had a year and a half, maybe more now, of time to be long on this asset. And now you're trying to tell me now, after the asset's done this, you're going to try to go long when it's completed a W pattern perfectly and is now trying to confirm a top at that completion with bearish divergence. This is like the dumbest area ever to go long on an asset. It just is. So good news, reality tells us this might be the lowest risk, best area ever to try to take a long. Sultan, if it goes to new lows, Bitcoin rug pulls and all that, which it very well could, we understand that. You're getting stomped out with such small losses, it's no big deal. But what we know about what we're identifying is, in past cycles on other markets or the same market, This is what they look like before they go insane to the upside. Not even to make all-time highs or higher highs, just moves, like big moves up where you gain like 200%. The position gains 200%. I mean, it goes up insane amounts, right? Like if it just goes up and makes a 50% retrace from that high from April and then collapses and goes to zero after that. I mean, a 50% retrace. That's common, extremely common. That's Dow's theory. It goes up 50%, 153, and then goes to zero after that. It's gone up 182% in value from there. So that's why it's like there's nothing wrong with trying to take a shot on an asset that's lost 95% of its value, that's completing an M shape and could be locally showing a reversal. There's just nothing wrong with that. Maybe this time, because again, the conditions are so awful. They are really bad. But the fear is so high. It is extremely high right now. But while the fear is so high, how are we identifying these assets doing these things? Why are they there? Why do they exist? Let's see. Let's just see what happens. You have something to say? I mean, right? Like, Sultan, do you understand what I mean? Like, I'm fully cognizant and aware how bad things are. How total's just, it's above that support, but barely. If you have a proper stop loss, a tight stop loss setup, you barely lose anything. But it's risk to reward, man. You have limited downside, even if it goes to $27. It's like limited compared to what it's done all year and a half, right? Stephen Conway, that's what they say before things get really interesting. Yeah, I get it. I get that Bitcoin going below 10K when it does, all right? But what happens if Bitcoin goes to 18K first? Then all these trade setups play out. They hit their targets. People take their profit. They get out. They make some money. And then it collapses, but it's not immediately. It's another one that's kind of very interesting. It doesn't mean it's going to play out, okay? Tired of people being like, you said this, you said that. It's like, hello? This is a game of probabilities, predictable patterns, things happening at levels that we know are value perceived areas, right? I mean, all that, like maybe, and this one this is just like Ethereum where I have to sneeze, but I can't because it hit the 80. Oh, it virtually did. My God, it was so close, man. It hit like an 80, probably hit an 88% retrace. Just didn't hit the 88.6% retrace. But it looks like one time it reacts, runs, and then maybe, just maybe, it's trying to commit a type 2 return here. I would like to see some price action. This one's not getting any. At least XRP got something. At least QNT got something. This one hasn't done anything at its potential type 2 return area. The good news is like one low, then the second low. You got the argument with Class V bullish divergence here too. How can you say Bitcoin rejected when it's the same price it was at on the 21st and it's going up and down, man? All right, if you care about Bitcoin on the daily, the number of 16,450 is very important, right? That is the bullish engulfing candle's beginning. That is like where if you get a daily candle close below 16,450, that engulfing candle becomes completely invalid. But for now, it's still valid. Ethereum's, yeah, it's the same. Like YFI and Ethereum are very similar from like the June low to now. They're like, you know, it's 85% retrace on Ethereum, not an 886, but it's close. But hey, 85% retrace. Let's just not forget about this one. US oil. It wasn't an 886 where it reversed, Larry. It was an 85% retrace, and that was it, man. I mean, think about it. From that reversal point, 43% losses, you know, from that, you know, big, like that's what I'm saying, right? These harmonics can usher in complete reversals. What a run, man. Then the W. And then a great example of another one was a cipher on Bitcoin in 2019. Remember, we talked about the legendary Gartley on Bitcoin down here in early 2019. It was legendary, put us on the map. But the unsung harmonic that ended that entire Gartley cycle. Where am I? Sorry, like trying to. Here we go. The harmonic that ended all of it was right here. Yeah, there it is. Still plotted. Yeah. So the cipher. It's the cipher. If you go back to one of the streams around July 10th, just go find that stream. It was the last thing I talked about before I signed off. I think I was in New Jersey or something weird. I can't remember. It was somewhere. I think on my laptop. It's like, that's it, man. It's like, if seller gonna sell, this could very well be it. The 786 and the 618 on B. And that was what, it never saw those prices again for another year plus. My God, right? COVID crash happened and you didn't see those levels again until November of 2020. Right, so the beginning, it was the Genesis, and then it was the Exodus. A tale of two harmonics. So we don't know if it's going to usher in the reversal. We don't know. But what we do know is like how reliable these patterns can be if they're identified properly. Identify them at inflection points, at global 886s. It could really be what reverses everything. So well, talk about mega sales. You cannot argue, you cannot say that these altcoins, the ones we've looked at, are not at mega sales. Based on Fibonacci, that is what tells you that we are at mega sales on them. The legacy coins, I mean, it's not really the new ones. My God, some of them just like, oh God, spacebar. Like, why would I want to look at this crap? I mean, look, Alice coin, like, really Alice coin. So, but here's the thing, like Alice coin, just like, trying to bottom out, but it's not that great. I mean, I think showing maybe divergence or something, but all-time lows, or not all-time lows, but maybe close. I look at this and I'm like, I don't really care. It's not giving a type 2 even if it was a harmonic, but that's kind of an 886. Look at Atom. Atom really is at a clear inflection point from history, and there's no arguing about it. It's real. Look, I have evidence that it's real. Multiple times, massive reversals to the downside and upside have happened depending on what it does. And here it is. I mean, like, you've got Atom here, and the problem is it's like that sneeze that you can't sneeze because it didn't make an 886. But you are staring into the face of an asset that is one low, then the second low that's slightly lower, but then you're showing very real bullish divergence on that MACD histogram at the inflection point. You got to wonder what could happen with this. They could rally and go up to $13, make a lower high, third lower high, and then roll over and eventually see an 886 later. Could be months though, right? I mean, just it's interesting to see what will happen on Atom here because it's at a key level. Look at this. Look at that, man. Look what's happened there. And the other one's like BAT. That's like, I don't really care about BAT. Like, I get, like, cool dude that Bitcoin might rally or not. But this one's terrible. It's down 1% on the new week. But it's showing bullish divergence, man. It's just not showing is it showing the harmonic we're looking for? Is it showing a type 2 return? Is it doing all that stuff at inflection points from history where history tells us that's where an asset reverses? Nope, not doing any of that. So why would I even give a crap about what BAT does next? You wouldn't. In fact, it was telling us you're going way lower, and it has gone lower. But if Bitcoin rallied with the coin flip, then of course it would rally off anywhere randomly. It's just going to rally with Bitcoin whenever Bitcoin rallies. But it's not giving us, again, there's the formula, right? It's the system. It's the things we look for, and nothing changes. Every time, every chart, we're looking for the same things. Comp, It's an M shape. It's kind of crazy, but no reaction at all. None. But dude, it's like all-time lows too. And so it's not, you don't have any historical context. It's not really at a support. It definitely has shown some pretty nice freaking RSI divergence on the daily. I love when the RSI gets oversold the first time, and then the second time it just gets oversold, but just not near as oversold, and then you go right back above 30. I love that. But I think it would still be like a type 2 or type 1 return. Like it'd be the reaction. Like no one's buying it though. It's my problem. Probably got a supply line there too. Yeah, supply line. Close. Not all these created equal. This one's like kind of okay-ish. But you think about like looking for trades, at least the trades of the system that I try to teach. I feel like it's like space exploration. Okay, we're out in outer space. We're Matthew McConaughey. We're trying to find a new planet for life. And you got to find the Goldilocks zone, right? That perfect sweet spot distance from the sun where there could be a planet that harbors life, right? We got to make sure it's got everything we need. Everything. It can't be too close to the sun, otherwise you can't produce, you know, it would be too hot, right? And then can't be too far, it's too cold. But then at the same time, it's in the Goldilocks zone, but it has a very weak electromagnetic sphere, right? So it can't produce an atmosphere strong enough to prevent like meteors, and it can't produce like, you know, all the gases we need. Shoot, man. All right, we got to move on to the next one. So this one maybe is possibly, it's not really in the Goldilocks zone, but there's ice on it, but it might be methane ice or something, right? It's just, there's an M shape that's completed, but that's about it. A little bit of divergence, that's it. A couple variables. Then you go to the GRT zone. GRT zone, like all-time lows, and you know, it's just right now it's trying to make a second low locally at I think a 1414, which is cool, but it's not making any, there's nothing else, there's no life, it doesn't have a strong enough magnetic sphere or whatever. It doesn't have it, man. But dang, man, there's like crazy divergence convergence going on the RSI. The MACD is kind of trying to show convergence because same low, higher low. It's okay, but again, it's not at a level from history. It's an extension pattern. It's not an accumulation pattern, right? Extension patterns are always like the lower lows. The harmonics like the sharks and the bats, the Gartleys, those are higher lows on the D point. So it's an accumulation argument, accumulation harmonics versus lots of distribution and extensions, right? Fib extensions. So, and then what about H bar? It's terrible. It's like there's no, like, I don't care if it pumps here. Look at this crap. It broke all these like strong supports from history. Bearish consolidation pattern broke. It made a lower low. Yeah, it's showing divergence like these other ones are. Yeah, bullish divergence. But no harmonic, no type 2, no confirmation lows, nothing, man. So if Bitcoin pumps, of course this will pump. But it's of no concern to us. Was it KNC or was it ZRX? It was, no, not KNC. It was ZRX. That's kind of interesting. It's like this one's got a few things going for it, but right, it's at this very real level from history. Going back to 2019, it's maybe the second time it's attempting to hold, and on that second test, there's divergence. So it's okay. There's no harmonic really though. No harmonic. So it's a pretty weak argument. The great news is we are free to scan as many charts as we want. Therefore, we don't need to settle. Let's find the right planet to live on, okay? Did anyone get that analogy, man? That work? I don't really see much feedback from y'all. Feel like I'm doing a static video, man. Yikes. I should be in my spaceship right now, right? Shouldn't I? If I was doing that analogy. So 0x out of support with divergence. You can't be that surprised if it does rally here. But it's not the best. There are way better ones that it already, look, like June puts a low in, and then look at you. You're way lower than you were in June. And then again, you go back to XRP. Look at XRP. In June, you put a low in. But guess what? You never saw those lows again. That is extremely different than ZRX's chart. So ZRX might have had that second low. Well, guess what? XRP has a second low too. Identifiable harmonic. The second low, the divergence. And all happening at a very real level of inflection. And a global 88% retrace from your low to high. This is one. This is one where someone would take a shot, and if it fails, it fails. You don't lose much. And you're doing it all strategically, not randomly. Hex, Guccinomics, man. The cult leader had to buy a few more Gucci bags for Christmas, so he had to sell some more, and made its lowest daily close since early 2021. That's Hex, man. That's what happened. That all happened today. Not good. But the problem is, like, I'm looking at all these, like, most of them are just not showing the same argument as XRP, QNT, LTC. Most are not. But ETC is kind of interesting, but I think it exceeded the 886. It's not making a type 2. If anything, it might be a type 1 soon. You know, like I'll show you the M shape here. It's just a bullish bat pattern that kind of didn't fail per se, but it's just like, man, we've seen so many that hit the 886 twice and they are gone. This one exceeds the 886 maybe a little bit. It just hasn't, look, it's right at it. Actually, it's right at it. There hasn't even been a reaction, so it's not even a real harmonic yet. You got to see something happen here. A reaction normally going to take you to at least a 38% retrace. Or, oh my God, in this situation, a 236 would be okay.
Hey Michi, hope you had a great Christmas. Just checking in to see how the stocks and cryptos are doing. I'm considering going all in on US bonds. Did you ever transform your Pulse Dogecoin into ASIC? ASIC token is going bananas on the chart. Thoughts?
Bro, I never had that. Never owned it, unfortunately. But, I don't know. All I can say is thank you for the contribution, and we will look at your ASIC token. Thank you, dude. Okay. Much love. Hope you had a good Christmas. So I think if this was not a joke, if it was real, ETC soon would be catching bids. And it would be enough to where people will be like, dang, man, that is where we know it's a type 1. But eventually it'll stall out, and if it gives us the most pristine, unbelievable setup ever, it would come right back down to this same area and hold. And then after it holds, it would be showing bullish divergence on the second low, and then you'd be getting the real run. You just don't have those things yet, right? You don't have them. But maybe you will. You really need Bitcoin to do something, man. Otherwise, ETC is gonna not hold 886 and go down to $13, which is the real support. Very real support resistance from history. My God, it started in 2017 multiple times. Then 2018 it was support. Then it was resistance in 2019 and 2020 multiple times, even in 2021. And then it became support again in 2022. So it's just like, it's time. Like I don't really know why. Hey man, there's no one buying yet, and so it's not valid yet as a harmonic. So potential bullish bat at its pattern completion zone, but no reaction, not even a type 1. But then again, you look at this, and then you look at this QNT. It's in an uptrend. It's doing the things we look for. It just is. I can't help it, man. I can't help that this asset is completed harmonic, has reacted, and is now at the reversal area with bullish divergence, unlike ETC. I can't help that. Just is. Yeah, well, Ali, he's contributing more to you, or contributing more to me than you are, right? I'm just saying, like, this is a 100% crowdsourced stream. People like Kush Blunts, keep it rolling. My patrons, keep it rolling. And guess what? We'll get to his coin, and if it's not showing us the variables we look for on any chart, every chart, I will crap all over that chart. That's the way it works. So it's like nature will fulfill its destiny, no matter what. So let's go to it. Speaking of, we got to go to. There's a couple more. We got a few requests. Let me knock out Bone real quick. Bone did what freaking? Crypto. I don't know. I guess we'll look at it on this one. Here's your Bone. Does it stick out as something incredible? Not really. I mean, buyers defended 63.95 cents. It's rallied off of it. It's sellers have failed to see that level again, which means maybe there's accumulation going on. But so look at the high, the lower high, now two lower highs. So you're kind of like range bound after putting in the lowest low. No formal edge on the daily that I see. Oh, maybe that's what's going on. Like the candle low closes are now being regarded as support from August of this year. So I think like your cutoff on Bone, if you were like optimistic, I'll tell you one thing, it did make it that global 886 that we always look for, right? The low to the high. Where did it bottom? Come on, chat. Can someone tell me in chat where this asset reversed? Can someone tell me out there? Not enough people have responded yet, so I'll just sit here for a second. $886 is not the golden pocket. The golden pocket would be the 65% retrace. So the 88% retrace. Yes, a lot of people have answered correctly. The first person to answer correctly was Nas Industry. Hype in the chat for Nas Industry. Hype in the chat! And Ibrahim also, and Sage Gaming Trading Guild also. The quickest on the drop. So 88% retrace. Do you understand why we're looking at XRP and like, hey man, we know it could fail. We know the asset could hit the global 886 and then start showing a bullish argument at that area and still fail. We know that, but my God, you can't say that's not the lowest risk, best value perceived area ever for a long. You just, because you flip the chart, it's the same thing for shorting. If you flip this thing over, global 886s, this is the worst area ever to be longing, possibly the best short. And so now maybe the trend has begun to reverse, where 73 cents is now acting as support a couple times, and you're holding. Now again, I think below 73 cents is probably, you're going back down to 64 cents. Okay, whatever. I don't really see any like pattern that's amazing here, but it's a request. Like that is so much chop, man. So much chop. It's like one low, then the second low on the 4 hour, and now you're making higher lows. And I do like Bone above the 4 hour 200 moving average. That's cool. Pretty choppy though. Pretty choppy right now. Confirmation low at 73 cents. So keep it up, man. You made your lows, you made your high, you made higher lows. You have yet to make higher highs. So the trend, you're still kind of in that, I would say, estuary that potential transition period where you haven't made consecutive higher highs, higher lows. You've merely just made a low, a high, higher lows. Nice. Higher lows. That's great, man. But now you got to make a higher high. And when you make a higher high, I think that when you break 98 cents, you're confirming a trend reversal, at least in the midterm. Okay, now at RSG, Australian Stock Exchange by flat out. All right. Let's go, Mott. Pretty illiquid. Well, no, it's got 6.55 million volume, even though the candles look so weird. I mean, this is one Resolute Mining Limited. Garbage, my God. But hey, yeah, okay. Of course. Here's your first all-time low down there. And here we are. Resolute.
I forgot to ask about Pulse Doge Malone Coin Chain Token too. Thank you, Michi.
Kush Blunts, thanks, dude. The 14 or the 420. Thank you, dude. So yes, man, unbelievable here. Let's see. Okay, 20 cents with some divergence, I guess. It's been destroyed. I think if you're above 19, that could be the lowest. I mean, buy low, sell high, right? Remember that? Guess what's high on this chart? It's pretty simple to see. $2.11 is buying high. So we could say 198 as well. So $2, and now you're at 19 cents. I mean, this is certainly a low risk area. See how long you can stay above it. But if you do, you know how good it could turn out. I mean, history tells us on an asset, if buyers do defend this 19 or this 20 to 28 cent level long enough, what does it do? It eventually makes it to $2 again. So this is a great looking chart just based on the fact that it's a range bound asset forever, and it's at the bottom of the range. That right there makes it splendid. My God, I really like how it's just pathetic. Every time there's a lower low, there's just the same levels of barely any negative momentum. It's just like stagnation in momentum, far less than before. Yeah, man, I mean, like if someone like longed here, it's kind of easy to determine, you know, maybe 18 cents would be all-time lows, right? Maybe not. Let's see, 16.5 cents is all-time lows. But I don't think if you're above 19 cents, you're good. So there's no like real structures here yet. There's nothing, right? I mean, there's no pattern. We'll see. I mean, that's 100% retrace of an M shape kind of. But it exceeded the 886. But hey, man, this is good enough for me. I mean, you can't get any more low risk than this. But normally at the bottom of ranges, you're wanting to see springs and then back tests of springs. And on the back test of the spring, right, that low from 2001, you're looking for very low volume. Then you spring is the act of getting above the inflection zone. And then the back test of spring is the act of back testing the old inflection point. So this is probably the most optimum. But Wyckoff, like in the books, if you look at them, you study them, there are the spring traders and there are the back test of spring traders. So which one are you? It's a higher risk being a spring trader because there's no formal confirmation. The back test of spring is the lower risk, and that's where most of the traders get in, and that's normally why you get insane massive markups after the spring back tests are successfully identified and they start playing out. So if you want to be a spring trader, just one could have a stop set up 17, 16 cents or something like that, because below that you're not springing, you're not doing anything, you're just making all-time lows, breaking supports. Beautiful though, beautiful chart. This is the weekly here, man. Who knows how long this will take to play out? But dang, man, basement prices. Kind of reminds me of that QRTEA. Sorry. Let us go to the next request, which was ASIC token. Okay, we're about to find out, aren't we? Is it a joke or is it technically okay? ASIC on Uniswap. Oh boy. Well, again, if you look at this chart, there's nothing much I can do here. I mean, it's very little data. Man, I was looking at this one time, right? And what we had was a beautiful channel. It broke that channel, back tested it as support, and that was it, man. You went up to test all-time highs and failed. You've been chopping around, but it hit all-time highs on yesterday. Yesterday, all-time highs 387. So again, at these levels, there's no way to strategize an entry or anything at all. It could keep going. I don't know. Just don't know, man. Thanks for the contributions. Up 10% on the new day. It says so. Again, Uniswap coins. Yeah, you can't touch it if you're talking about strategizing an entry at an inflection point with all the variables we look for. That doesn't exist on ASIC at this time, and that's okay. It can still go up, but it also can go down. You're flipping coins right here. Yikes. Big yikes, man. Pulse Malone Dogechain coin in shambles. An upthrust failed breakout attempt. And now breaking below the key June high at 636. Boy, that did not work out, did it? So, but here's the thing. As long as the asset can somehow make a higher low than the low from December around 440, it would be a higher low, meaning there would be accumulation. There'd still be more market participants involved than before. But yes, this is a clear head fake. Fake out. Failed bullish breakout consequence rolling over. But just make a higher low and the trend will stay intact. If you make a lower low than 440, I think if you break 450, 480, you're done. I don't think you want to own this. I think you're out. But yeah, until that breaks, I guess your trend's intact. And that was the last request. Really. Going to Bitcoin on the daily, it's down 0.33% on the new week, on the new day. Let's go to that weekly. Wait, I'm sorry, not the new week because that was yesterday. Sorry, man, I'm off kilter here. I think you are too, right? It's just like, what? It was Sunday, but it was Christmas Day. Weekly close, and look at your weekly, man. Oh God, it's terrible. It's just like no movement ever. Never ever. Bearish control zone on the weekly. You still got positive Momo, but no movement. Oh my God, it's Mama Ivy. Let's go. Thanks, Mama Ivy. Good to see ya. Hope you're bundled up.
HDR and please, Sir Artie.
Hedron. Yeah, we'll look at Hedron right now. Thank you. We'll start it with a weekly too. Hedron on Uniswap on the weekly. Oh my God, it's so disgusting. But it's starting to get to those areas, right? Where, hey, full on 886 is upon ye. How many weeks in a row of selling is that? 9 weeks in a row, dude, of lower lows. But yeah, just again, it's ugly. But you go from this low from June all the way to its highest high. And understand, you haven't seen it yet. You were very close a couple weeks ago. But the 88% retrace is 8,534. Which is, you know, right around the highs from June. So, you know, you're going to get down there and maybe it's potential harmonic. It looks like Gartley-Bartley stuff, you know, massive harmonic. I mean, this thing is 6 month, 7 month large structure here. Nearing its completion. The 886, man. But dang it, dude, you haven't seen it yet, have you? But yeah, that 886 lines up with like all these, look, these lows were put in, these highs were put in. I mean, that's a good spot. I mean, that's definitely the bottom of a range. If you're range bound between, you know, 5 to 10,000 all the way up to 51,000, this is the top of the range, this is the bottom of the range. So you're getting to those areas where it's time to pay attention again. But you could have spent, since it topped out, you know, since September, you could have just spent no time looking at this because it was never at a value area. But you know the bottom, and then you could be having an alert set up, and soon that alert will be going off. You know, you're at possibly the bottom of a range, value perceived area with a completed harmonic. But it's potential because it hasn't reacted at all. Okay. That's your head drawn. Buy low, sell high. Low is between 5,000, 10,000, and high is 51 to 64,000. And I know it's in US denomination. I'm just not gonna waste my time talking about, however many 100,000ths of a penny. Great, dude. And look right here. You know, it broke the level, back tested it. Look at the rally, the attempted rally. I'm sorry that you stopped requesting it. When it confirmed distribution, confirmed a second high, and then came back to the level and then dumped below it, and now look at you. But hey, man, this is a great area to be. Just have your alert set up on Hedron around 9,500, 9,150. Down there, man, that's the area. Definitely the area. Key inflection point right up there. Okay, so I certainly wouldn't be that surprised if you reacted down there a little bit lower. Okay, Mama Ivy, thank you so much. Hope you had a wonderful Christmas. Y'all got a bowl game coming up with the Texas Bowl. Think the Texas Bowl. Don't screw this up. Yep, Tax Act, Texas Bowl against Texas Tech. Wow, the Tax Act, Texas Bowl versus Texas Tech. That's a lot of T's, man. So many T's. All right, so pretty good comeback stream. You know, I was off a couple days and good for me. And you know, something like this, just the market's dead. It's been dead. Very little movement on Bitcoin, crypto, but hey, man. And I think it's pretty coin flippish. I really do think Bitcoin's in coin flip territory, roulette, slot machine territory for up or down. But the altcoins, just a few of them, not many, just a few, are at actionable long entries. They just are. Even if they fail, they just happen to be. Okay, and I've presented that multitude of times in the stream. Another one that's I didn't look at, one more before I get out of here, is this YFI. And this freaking YFI, dude, it had never hit the 886 like Ethereum. But my God, man, you want to talk about an asset that lost literally almost all its value. It lost 98% of its value from its August 12th low, right? Those are areas where if you're looking at 98% retraces, and all of a sudden over the course of 6-7 months an M shape develops, and all of a sudden there happens to be divergence there, this is not something to ignore. Pay attention. If you don't go long, you better keep watching, because this might be extremely educational for you. These few assets that look pretty okay for a long, but us knowing how bad the macro is, you don't have to take action on any of these. But pay attention to the ones I've discussed today. You just have them on a watch list, like potential tendies list, right? Potential tendies watch list. Put them on there, and let's see what happens. I got, you know, the market conditions are so abysmal, so dead, so awful. I could understand how all these will fail. But there's an offshoot chance. There's a chance, man, that maybe that coin flip on Bitcoin goes up, And these altcoins accelerate off of their type 2 returns, their lowest risk entries, where you can strategize a stop loss below it. And then you won't ever get those chances again. Like, it'll get off these lows and then it'll be gone, man. They'll be gone. And it'll be like, dang it, dude, I should have taken action on one of those. It was at the perfect level for it, but I just didn't because I didn't believe. It's like, okay, you can be a non-believer, but pay attention. Let's see what happens, okay? You might be completely right that we're going lower immediately soon. Tomorrow stock market opens, we crash. Sure, maybe. But there's a chance that maybe not. And you want to be in the ones that are performing or that are just showing the predictable patterns that we look for, that we've studied for all these years, right? Okay. What's up, Josh? Joshua. All right. So I'll leave you with that. Thanks everyone for coming out. I really appreciate likes, love, support, contributions, everything in between. Hope you had a Merry Christmas. I'll be going to Miami in a few days. I'm bringing the mobile setup, so I'll be doing some streams from down there. And yeah, got some good football, college football bowl games coming up too. So good time of the year. So I'll just be back. Until next time, respect the TA.
Is that a joint?